being a family doctor in a small to medium-sized community is really an interesting job, and it can be a tough job. Dr. Barnes was someone who really took that responsibility on, made it his own, made the community his own for a period of nearly 50 years. And what a remarkable, remarkable accomplishment.
Jack is all about faith, family, friends, and the family's, like I say, one of those right up at the top, and of course his profession and his alma mater.
When he was chosen as the Iowa Doctor of the Year in 1997, it was indicated in an article that he had over 6,000 patients. And that consisted of patients throughout the Harrison County area, as well as some came from Council Bluffs, some came from Omaha, and some came from other counties because his reputation was widespread.
When the Barnes family first moved to town, Jack was fresh out of the Navy, and they were just starting to have children, which they got very good at through the years, and did a wonderful job of. So there wasn't a lot of money for things like groceries and stuff, and I'm sure Dad knew that Dr. Barnes would be good for it. I don't think there was any doubt in his mind. So if Jack needed help with groceries or tires for his automobile, Dad was more than willing to take care of it, and it's paid us all back in spades.
You have the challenge of treating the entire individual. You know the person, you know the problems that they have, and that's a unique factor that very few physicians can experience.
When I first went to work for him in 1977, I don't believe we had appointments. That time they just came, and he kept accepting them as long as they were showing up at the door. He worked 6.5 days a week, and then when we went to appointments, we could accommodate approximately 30 a day, but we never turned anyone away. Even though the last appointment was at 4:30, if someone came, we saw them.
Living here in Missouri Valley, his patients always knew they could get a hold of him, and he always answered and took care of them.
So I think Missouri Valley was fortunate to have him, and he was fortunate to be able to serve there all those years.
Jack was a great family physician. He used to send patients, and if I ever had any questions about his patients or about the hospital, I could always call Jack, and he always knew the answer. He was really the pillar of the Community Memorial Hospital in Missouri Valley.
He did treat patients from birth to death, and I have several of those occasions that was within my own family. And he was very caring. He was a man of few words, but I think the reason that so many people loved him was that he was always very honest with you, very direct. So you knew exactly where you stood, and he didn't ever tell you something that he thought might be going to happen. It was always, he had confirmed it before he ever gave you anything to worry about.
He took care of Mom and Dad, Grandma and Grandpa, and the kids. And there were some that as the kids grew up, he took care of their kids. He was county coroner for quite a few years, so yes, he would have to leave the office. He was also the doctor, the emergency room doctor. At that time, they didn't have someone staffed over there all the time. And with our clinic being right across the street, they would call him, and he'd go over there to take care of someone and then come back.
So one of the unique challenges is that not only do you care for the patient in a holistic way, but also you have to have the skills to be prepared for anything.
He had a fantastic memory. When you called him up at night to ask him a question or to tell him about what was happening to you or your family, he would recall what he had seen you for, what he had given you, and it was just phenomenal. I've never seen any other doctor that has been able to do that since.
He did not take a vacation in, I know, 30 years. He worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year for about 30 years. So, devotion to his patients, How many people would do that today, you know?
One of the best bosses that I ever worked for, he would take the time if you wanted to talk to him about something within the office, or if you had something personal that you wanted to talk to him about. He always found the time to have you sit down and speak with him.
We were on a parent council at Creighton that was started by Father John Lynch, and Jack and his wife Janet were on the council, and they became the chairs, and the council really blossomed under their leadership.
I just remember ever since I was little going to Creighton basketball games and everyone coming up to my grandfather saying, "Doc, it's so good seeing you again, Doc." So I kind of assumed when I was little that his name was Doc sometimes.
The family does truly bleed blue. They're all Creighton fans. They're actively involved, and when they say they come to Creighton events and Creighton athletic events, they're not just there at tip-off. They're there as soon as the building opens, and they're some of the last ones to leave. So the Barneses have been active donors in assisting us in endowed scholarships for our student athletes and degree completion awards, amongst anything else. I mean, anytime we have a fundraiser for a specific sport or for all of our sports, you know, Doc Barnes and Janet are on our list, and they're some of the first ones to make a commitment to us. When we recruit student athletes and their parents, we talk about our product, and Doc Barnes is one that we use in his family as an example of our product, how they have passion, not only for what they're doing, but passion for Creighton. They're very intelligent, they have high character.
I would say the trait I most admire about my grandfather is his service to others, whether it be his family throughout his life, his country when he served during the war, or the public at large throughout his professional career. It's truly a characteristic that I've seen in him and greatly admired, and that I hope to emulate in my own professional life.
We tell our student athletes, if you take advantage of the resources that the community makes available to you, and that could be the community of Creighton, it would be the community of Creighton and its alums, it could be Omaha. But when you take advantage of the resources a community provides to you, you're obligated to give back. And it's nice to have examples of that. And our athletes see the difference that the Barnes family has made.
They're the kind of people who make faith first in their lives. So coming here and seeing them so involved has been a real blessing. Jack and Janet are the kind of people who just quietly go about what they know is important, and if you find out what they've done, fine. If it's not a big concern for them.
If training physicians was a matter of creating a template or a mold or a model, we'd create something that looked just like Dr. Barnes and try to use that to basically build our future physicians.
We love you, Grandpa. Go Jays!